Hey, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these Cuban style sliders. Before we get into today's video, be sure to subscribe to our channel. So this is like a Cuban sandwich, but this is kind of our version of it that you do in the crock pot. So I'm taking a Boston butt or a shoulder roast. They're the same thing. It just depends on what your store calls them. I've always called them a Boston butt. I'm taking one of those and I'm putting it in my crock pot, and now I'm going to add some seasonings. They're all going to be listed on the screen, but it's basically salt, pepper, olive oil, some onion, garlic, cumin, bay leaves. It's a ton of stuff. Here's my recommendation. I have kind of a smaller crock pot. It's only like maybe 6 quarts. It's not like a bigger crock pot. If you have a smaller one like this is what I would recommend. I would recommend, and I wish that I had thought of this before I started, but I would recommend doing all of the dry seasonings, so like the garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, coriander, all of that stuff, even the brown sugar, doing that as like a rub before you put it in the crock pot. That way you can get it all over the Boston butt instead of kind of just on the top like it was here. Now, as it cooks, all of that stuff is going to get mixed in, but I feel like I would have gotten a more thorough seasoning, and I would have realized that I needed more salt and pepper for the amount of meat that I have. I didn't follow my own rule. I didn't over season with salt and pepper, and I wish I had, because it needed a little bit of salt. It tasted great, needed a little salt. So that would be my recommendation, just to make sure that you get a thorough seasoning, especially if you're using a smaller crock pot for a kind of a large amount of meat. So this is really great because you just dump everything in there. So it's some orange juice. I'm doing some onion and some garlic. And with the garlic, you can just cut it in half, put the whole thing in there, peel and all. Because you just take it out. And if you're like my husband, he takes it out and then he squeezes the garlic out of it and eats the garlic. I think he's strange, but he likes it. So I'm just putting on the seasonings. The coriander was it was very fine powder. It wouldn't come through the sifter. I had a hard time with that. Some smoked paprika. You can put smoked paprika on everything. That's my recommendation. Smoked paprika goes on everything. And then some brown sugar. And the other good thing about this is that it's sort of a marinade. This is going to cook in, so you don't really have to measure if you're good at eyeballing it. If you want to measure, you can. But it's not like baking. You don't have to measure. You can just kind of guesstimate. And I've been cooking and doing stuff like this for so long that I'm usually pretty accurate on measurements and that kind of thing. So now I'm just zesting this orange, putting the zest, and then I'm going to put the juice in, and I just decided to put the whole orange in as well, because why not? Everything else is going in there, might as well put the orange in. And that's I really like the orangey flavor in this Cuban recipe, so the more orange the better. You want to cook that on low for 12 hours. You can put it on high for like maybe 4 hours and then on low for another 4 hours if you want to shorten the cook time a little bit. But I started this at like 7 in the morning and it was done when we ate dinner at about 6:30. So not quite 12 hours. But that's the great thing about crock pots, is that you just dump everything in there and you let it go. Now for the sandwich part, I am using Hawaiian rolls. You can use a regular roll. You could use any kind of bread that you prefer. I just thought Hawaiian rolls would be fun. So now I'm just pulling the pork out, and I didn't have to do anything to this pork. It's shredding itself, basically. I'm just pulling the pork out. I'm trying to be really careful not to get any of those bay leaves. I did miss one bay leaf, and a bay leaf snuck into my husband's sandwich. I'm just putting the pork on here, and this makes with the amount of pork that I put in, I'd say I put in about 5 to 7 pounds. This made a ton of meat. So, this didn't even use half of it. And now I'm putting down some cheese. We're using provolone, but again, you can use any kind of cheese you like. That's the great thing about making these at home. This meat is kind of like the perfect vessel for anything you like. I'm adding some pickles to my husband's side. I didn't want pickles on my side, so I just only put it on half. And again, this is the great thing about making this kind of thing at home, because you can make however you want. And then I'm doing some spicy brown mustard. I kind of wish I'd done some mayonnaise too, but the mustard was good. I also kind of wish that I had put the pickles on my side. And now I'm just rubbing a little butter on top. I did put a little garlic powder and a little salt in the butter. But you don't have to if you don't want the extra salt or the extra garlic powder. And then I'm going to put those in the oven. I forgot about them. I left them in a little too long. So they got a little extra done on top, but they still tasted really good. And that was it. There they are, all done. They were absolutely delicious. And if you want to see more recipes like this, be sure to check out Loaves and Dishes, and thanks for watching.